The steam whistle screams through the pre-dawn dark, a sound sharp enough to split bone. It's 4:45 a.m., February 1920, and I'm already half awake, boots crunching snow outside the factory in Detroit. My breath clouds in the brittle air, tasting faintly of coal soot from the boilers that never sleep. The whistle's second blast confirms it. The day shift is on and words trickling down the line that the quota's doubled overnight. 200 Model Ts need their pinstripes by dusk. Black enamel on black steel, every line flawless or it's my neck. I pull my wool cap tighter, the sweat-soaked band already itching my forehead. The factory looms ahead, its windows glowing like 100 yellow eyes in the fog. My fingers, still raw from yesterday's turpentine, fumble with my time card. The punch clock snaps like a trap. Inside, the air's thick with enamel fumes, sweet and dizzying, curling into my lungs. I weave past rivet guns spitting sparks. A heartbeat under the conveyor's endless clank. The line's already humming. Steel car bodies swaying on chains, waiting for my brush. My stomach knots. One slip today, one wobble, and I'm out in the snow with nothing but a pink slip. In the dressing room at 5 a.m., the air's damp, heavy with the bite of turpentine and sweat-soaked leather aprons. I sit on a splintered bench, taping my fingertips with cloth strips, each wrap stinging where the solvents chewed my skin raw. The tape's texture is rough like sandpaper, but it'll keep my grip steady. Across the room, Jimmy, a wiry fender man, mutters about the big man himself walking the line today, eyeballing every stroke. My chest tightens at the thought. Henry Ford, with his cold stare and stopwatch, deciding who's worth keeping. I flex my hands, feeling the numb throb in my thumb joint from yesterday's 8-hour shift. The locker room's a haze of steam and shadow, lit by a single bulb flickering like it's got a grudge. I catch a whiff of cold corned beef hash from someone's lunch pail. Sour and greasy, mixing with the metallic tang on my lips from the factory air. My sable brush tucked in my apron feels alive, its hog hair bristles whispering against the leather. I stand, joints creaking, and head for the line. The conveyor's waiting, and it doesn't care about rumors or raw fingers. By 5:30 a.m., the first car bodies roll down the line, their mirror-gloss panels catching the overhead lamps like black ice. The conveyor's moving faster today, a jerky rhythm that sets my teeth on edge. I'm at my station, brush in hand, dipping into the enamel pot. The paint's viscous, swirling like molasses, its sweet fumes stinging my nose. Each stripe's gotta be 3 inches long, razor straight, no wider than a dime. One wobble and the whole car's scrapped, along with my pay. I breathe slow, letting the brush glide, its bristles whispering across the steel. The cold factory air prickles my neck, but sweat's already beading under my cap. To my left, a welder's arc flares, spitting ozone that tastes sharp on my tongue. The line's a beast, each car body swaying slightly, daring me to miss. I finish one stripe, then another, my wrist locked steady, but the pace is brutal. Across the bay, a rookie drops his rivet gun and the clang echoes like a warning. I don't look up. My world's this panel, this brush, this moment. At 6:15 a.m., I'm mid-stripe on a touring car's cowbelly curve. It's that tricky dip where the fender meets the door. My brush is steady, the enamel flowing smooth when I spot it. A tiny bubble no bigger than a pinhead swelling in the wet stripe. My heart skips. If the inspector sees this, it's a write-up, maybe worse. The bubble's a traitor, glinting under the lamps like it's mocking me. I dip my brush in turpentine, the sharp bite of solvent splashing my wrists cool and slick. With a flick, I feather the bubble flat, praying the stripe holds. The conveyor jerks forward and I'm onto the next panel, but my pulse is still hammering. The factory's hum surrounds me, chains clanking, pulleys squealing, the faint crackle of a crystal radio spitting jazz from someone's station. The air tastes bitter now, like tobacco from a coworker's roll-up drifting over. I glance at the bubbles spot as the car rolls away. It's gone for now. But the inspector's boots are clipping closer and I feel his eyes like a weight. The breakfast whistle shrieks at 8 a.m. and the line freezes. I set my brush on the rack, bristles dripping black, and shuffle to the break room, my boots sticking to the enamel-splattered floor. The air's warmer here, thick with the smell of lukewarm coffee and coal soot. I grab my tin mug, the handle cold and smooth, and sip the bitter brew, tasting faint peppermint from the lozenge I pop to cut the fumes. Around me, guys slump on benches, swapping gossip about Ford's latest speed-up plan. My mind drifts to 1917 when I learned pinstriping on boxcars in a rail yard. The paint so thick it'd dry in clumps. The memory's vivid, the creak of wood, the tang of hot machine oil, my old boss barking about keeping the line clean. Back then, a wobble was just practice. Now it's my livelihood. Someone's lunch pail spills a whiff of corned beef hash and my stomach growls. The whistle'll blow again soon and the line won't wait. I drain my mug, the coffee's dregs gritty on my tongue, and head back. By 9 a.m., the brass are out in force, supervisors prowling with pocket stopwatches, their badges glinting like knives. They're timing every stroke, muttering about a 3-inch per minute speed up. I'm on a sedan's door panel, my brush gliding, but their shadows fall heavy, stretching long across the floor. The skylight's frosted beam slices through the dusty air, cold and bright, making the enamel gleam wet. My wrist aches, the tape on my fingers peeling where sweat's soaked through. The air's sharp with turpentine now, stinging my eyes, and I taste the metallic mist of enamel on my lips. Across the line, a rivet gun pops and I flinch, nearly nicking the stripe. The supervisor's boots stop behind me, his breath huffing like a bellows. I keep my eyes on the panel, my brush steady, each stroke a quiet rebellion. He clicks his stopwatch and moves on, but the threat lingers. They want machines, not men, and I'm just a hand holding a brush. Until I'm not. At 11:30 a.m., the solvent runs dry. The freight elevator's jammed and the turpentine runner's nowhere in sight. My brushes are gumming up, the enamel sticking like tar. I'm on a coupe's fender, trying to stretch the last drops, but the bristles drag, leaving streaks. The air's heavy with hot machine oil coating my throat and sweat's dripping into my eyes, stinging like salt. I yank the masking tape off the fender, its sticky pull tugging my skin, and dip my brush in what's left of the solvent. The cool splash on my wrists is a small mercy, but it won't last. Across the bay, someone curses as a rivet gun jams, the pop, pop, pop stuttering out. The line keeps moving, relentless, each car body a ticking clock. I glance at the elevator cage, its chains rattling faintly, still stuck. My thumb's throbbing now, the joint screaming with every stroke. If the runner doesn't show soon, I'm painting with spit and prayers. It's 1 p.m., and the line's cranked to a record pace, a speed trial that's got everyone's nerves frayed. I'm on a roadster's hood, my brush flying, but sweat's dripping into the enamel pot, plinking soft against the paint. My hands cramping, the tape on my fingers slick and useless. The air's thick with enamel fumes, sweet and choking, and I taste tobacco bitterness from a co-worker's roll-up drifting over. The conveyor's a blur, wheel spokes spinning like saw blades, daring me to keep up. I lock my wrist, letting the brush glide, but the pace is inhuman. The factory's alive with noise, pulleys squealing, chains clanking, a distant steam whistle shrieking for no reason. My cap's soaked through, the wool band rough against my forehead. A drop of sweat falls, narrowly missing the stripe. I wipe my face with a bandana, the cotton coarse and damp, and keep going. The line doesn't stop, and neither can I. At 2:30 p.m., a skylight beam blinds me mid-stroke on a touring car's roof. The sun's broken through, its glare slicing the dusty air, turning the enamel into a mirror. My eyes water and the stripe wobbles, a hairline flaw that looks a mile wide. The inspector's at my shoulder, his brass badge flashing, his breath smelling faintly of peppermint. I taste the metallic mist of enamel on my lips, sharp and bitter as I dip my brush in turpentine, the solvent's cool splash steadying my nerves. My thumb's numb, throbbing under the tape, but I can't stop. The conveyor jerks, the car swaying slightly, and I lean in, brushing over the wobble, praying it blends. The factory's hum is relentless. Rivet guns popping, pulleys squealing, the faint ding of a streetcar bell sneaking through a cracked window. The inspector hovers, his shadow cold on my neck. I finish the stripe, my breath held, and he grunts, moving on. My chest loosens just a fraction. By 3 p.m., I'm in the quiet bay, a corner where the line slows for final touch-ups. The car's a sedan, its stripe wobbling where the fender curves. The inspector's circling again, but I've got a trick. A thumb twist I learned on boxcars, feathering the brush to hide flaws. I dip into the enamel. The pots swirl, catching the lamp's glow, and work the stripe. My wrist loose, the bristles gliding. The air's cooler here, smelling faintly of coal soot and hot machine oil. My boots stick to the floor, the enamel's tacky pull tugging each step. I taste peppermint from my lozenge cutting through the fumes. The inspector pauses, his eyes narrowing, but my twist does the job. The wobble's gone, the stripe clean. He nods, a rare flicker of approval, and moves on. My fingers tremble, the tape peeling where sweat's eaten through. The line's still rolling, but for a moment I've won. This panel's mine, perfect and quiet. At 4 p.m., the wash-up sinks are calling. The shift's nearly done, and I'm at the basin, scrubbing enamel from my hands, watching rainbow swirls spiral down the drain. The water's cold, shocking my raw fingertips, but the turpentine's bite is worse, stinging where the tape didn't hold. The air's thick with solvent and sweat, and I catch a whiff of ozone from a welder's arc across the bay. Guys around me are talking low and tired about lacquer spray guns coming next year. Machines that could kill brushwork for good. My heart sinks at the thought. My sable brush drying on the rack feels like an old friend, its bristles soft as a whisper. I wipe my hands on a rag, the cotton rough and damp, and taste the faint metallic tang of enamel still clinging to my lips. The factory's slowing now, the conveyors clank softer, almost sleepy. I grab my coat, the wool heavy with coal dust, and head for the door. It's 5:30 p.m., and I'm on the streetcar, my pay packet clinking in my pocket, brass coins cool against my palm. The car rattles down Woodward Avenue, wet cobblestones reflecting neon sign. Pep-Cola flickering in the drizzle. The air's crisp, smelling of snow and coal soot, a relief after the factory's fumes. My thumb's still throbbing, the tape long gone, and I taste tobacco bitterness from a stranger's roll-up across the aisle. The day's weight settles in my bones, but there's a quiet pride, too. 200 cars, every stripe clean, no write-ups. I lean against the window, its glass cold and smooth, and watch Detroit blur past, all flat caps and early neon. Tomorrow's a whisper of something new. Rumors of two-tone paint jobs, cream and blue, like nothing we've done before. I close my eyes, the streetcars sway, rocking me gentle, and let that thought linger, soft as a brush on steel. The streetcar jolts and I shift in my seat, the wood creaking under me, worn smooth by years of tired workers. My fingers trace the edge of my pay packet, the paper crinkled and warm from my grip. Outside, Woodward Avenue pulses, early neon casting pink and green halos on the wet street. The air's got a chill that bites my knuckles, raw from turpentine, and I pull my coat tighter, the wool heavy with factory dust. A kid selling papers hollers about jazz shows downtown, his voice cutting through the clatter of the car. I catch a whiff of hot machine oil lingering on my sleeve, sharp and familiar, like the factory followed me home. My tongue still holds the faint peppermint sting from the lozenge I chewed hours ago. A ghost of the break room. The streetcar's sway is steady now, almost lulling, and I let my shoulders sag, the tension of the line melting into the rhythm of the ride. 200 cars today, each stripe a small victory, each one proof I'm still here, still steady. The window's fogging where my breath hits, a soft blur that softens the city's edges. I wipe it with my sleeve, the wool scratching my wrist, and peer out at the drizzle-soaked street. A lone arc welder's spark flashes in an alley, its ozone tang faint but sharp, like a memory of the factory floor. The streetcar's bell dings again, crisp and clear, slicing through the low hum of voices around me. My pay packet's weight feels good, solid, but it's not just the coins. It's the day behind me, the clean stripes, the inspector's nod. I taste the faint metallic mist of enamel still clinging to my lips from hours at the line. The car's crowded now, folks in flat caps and heavy coats, their murmurs blending with the rattle of the tracks. I think of the quiet bay, that moment when my thumb twist saved the sedan's stripe, and a small smile tugs my mouth. It's the kind of thing nobody sees but me, and that's enough. The neon outside pulses, a diner sign glowing red, promising warmth. I'll pass by from my cold room. My stop's coming, the streetcar slowing with a groan that echoes the freight elevator back at the plant. I stand, my boots sticking to the floor, tacky with city grime and traces of enamel I couldn't scrub off. The air's colder now, seeping through the car's cracked windows, carrying the bite of snow and coal soot. My hand grips the pole, cool and slick, steadying me as the car lurches. Across the aisle, a fella's crystal radio crackles, spitting a jazz trumpet's wail, bright and jagged against the evening's hush. I taste the faint bitterness of tobacco again, drifting from somewhere behind me, mixing with the factory's ghost on my tongue. The neon outside flickers. Pep Cola, then a bar sign, red and buzzing, casting my shadow long and thin. My thumb's still sore, a dull throb under the skin. But it's a badge of the day's work of keeping the line clean. I step toward the door, the streetcar's bell ringing one last time, calling me home. The city's alive out there, all wet cobblestones and hurried steps, but I'm ready for quiet, for the weight of the day to slip off my shoulders. Out on the street, the drizzles turn to a fine mist, settling on my face like a cool whisper. My boots crunch the wet pavement, each step a soft echo in the evening's hush. The factory's far behind, but its scent clings. Turpentine sharp in my coat's weave like a memory that won't fade. A streetcar bell fades in the distance, its ding soft as a sigh. I pass a shop window, its glass catching the neon glow of a bar sign, red and flickering, stretching my shadow across the stones. My breath tastes of peppermint, the lozenge long gone, but its sting lingering, cutting through the day's grit. The pay packets in my pocket clinking faintly, a small anchor tying me to the grind just done. I think of those two-tone rumors, cream and blue, colors that'll dance under my brush, maybe make the steel sing in ways black enamel never could. My boarding house looms ahead, its windows dark, waiting for me to carry the day's story inside. The air's cold, biting my raw knuckles, but it feels clean, like a promise of rest. I push open the boarding house door, the hinges creaking soft like the pulleys back at the plant. The hall's dim, heavy with the smell of boiled cabbage and coal soot from a supper I missed. My boots track wet on the floorboards, the wood worn smooth by years of tired steps. I climb the stairs, each one groaning under my weight, and my thumb throbs again, a quiet pulse tying me to the line. In my room, I set the pay packet on the table, the coins glinting under the weak lamp, sharp as the supervisor's brass badges. I pop another peppermint lozenge, its sharp sting chasing the faint metallic tang of enamel still on my lips. The day's done. 200 cars, every stripe clean, my hands steady despite the speed up, the bubble, the glare. I sit on the bed, the springs creaking, and let the quiet wrap around me, soft as the brushes whisper on steel. The city hums outside, a jazz trumpet's faint wail sneaking through the cracked window. I think of the line, the rhythm of it, how it pulls you in and doesn't let go. But today, I held my own. I lean back, the wall cool against my neck, and stare at the ceiling, its cracks like the hairline wobbles I fought all day. A streetcar bell dings faintly outside, the city settling into night. The air's thick with turpentine's bite, clinging to my clothes, mixing with coal soot drifting through the window. I think of tomorrow, the whisper of two-tone paint, cream and blue, bold and new, a chance to make the steel sing. My breath slows, steady as the line, and I whisper to the dark, "Let's see what those colors can do." The day's weight lifts just a fraction, and I close my eyes, the boarding house quiet, the city humming soft, carrying me toward rest. The lamp's flicker casts shadows on the wall, dancing like the conveyor's chains in my mind. I pull off my coat, the wool heavy and damp, and hang it on the hook, its turpentine scent lingering like a stubborn guest. My boots come off next, the leather stiff with factory grime, and the floorboards feel cool under my socks, grounding me. Outside, a streetcar's bell chimes, faint and fading like the last note of a song. I taste the faint bitterness of tobacco caught in my throat from the streetcar's crowded air, mixing with the peppermint's fading sting. I lie back on the bed, the mattress sagging under me, its springs groaning like the factory's pulleys. The room's cold, the air carrying a whiff of coal soot from the chimney down the street. My fingers, still stiff, trace the calluses where the brush sits all day, the skin rough as the tape I wrap it with. I think of the factory, its endless clank, and the two-tone paint rumors that might make it new. Cream and blue, colors that could turn steel into something alive. My hands, sore but steady, carried me through today, and they'll do it again. I whisper to the dark, "Tomorrow's got colors waiting," and let my eyes close, the city's hum fading, the day slipping into rest.